Hey guys, this is Amy recording to you from New Orleans. And it is cold down here, and I'm sure wherever you are, it's cold. And this is related to the Zodiac, and there is four planets. There is Mars has just entered into Aquarius, and also there in Aquarius is Venus and Mercury, all in about 1 degree, 8 degree. Let's see, Sun is at 5 degrees, and then there's Pluto at 3. And it's the age of Aquarius. We are in an air sign, the air sign, and they are obviously they have gained strength and they are strengthened by each other, and they are all in conjunction, meaning close together. And so this is to be expected. Pluto is cold, Mars is cold. So, as above, so below. And this is the next, going on the next week. So, hopefully, wherever you are safe and warm. Down here, it's going to be in the 20s. But so not to get sidetracked, because I want to talk in this video for a moment about how did I get here. And I will post a photo because I love the Talking Heads. I love David Byrne. It was kind of before my time. It was a time of my older sisters. But so what an amazing song. How did I get here? And for those of us that are enlightened and are aware, I hate to use awake because I feel like it is kind of overused. Awake, awake, woke, awakened. It's just it's just overkill on that one. So, however, for those of us that are enlightened, we ask ourselves, we are truth investigators, and we ask ourselves, how did I get here? How does this all work? Where am I? Um, and I get downloads, I'm sure, from the solar system. And I've gotten them a lot over the last couple of years, more so than ever. And I connect it with a sort of ESP frequency that I am residing in. And I get them a lot lately, more and more and more and more. And do you notice the echo chamber of your thoughts and how, of course, it's AI, but how you are thinking something and then it pops up, and then maybe in your feed it's like a video or someone says something and you've just thought of that word or that song. Well, it is an echo chamber. It is bouncing back on us. It is an engagement, a system of engagement with us and the outer source, which is still essentially us, and it is consciousness. And I want to talk about something for just a moment that has been weighing on my mind quite a bit, a download that I got on the nature of the sun and the moon and how we got here. So now, anyone who's done any level of truth research will know that the moon which is a water-based body. It's a luminary. It's some type of artificial system, but it is feminine. And for anyone with any just base knowledge on the esoteric or the occult, you would know that the moon is a water-based system, and it's in a type of plasma. And there's a crystalline structure, you know, plasma type system above us under the dome. And isn't it interesting, the word dome and how it's also mode, right? And I want to point these words out. As I go, I'm going to point out different terms to you for you to think on and how it's connected. And in the dome, we are sealed in under the ceiling, right? Glass ceiling, as some noted higher up elites have stated, the glass ceiling. You'll hear that in movies a lot as well. So, sealing, we are sealed in here in a state of consciousness. So, look at the fact that Ra is the sun, it's a portal, They're all portals. All the wandering stars are portals, which are the seven, as you know, Venus, Mars, named after the days of the week. I don't have to tell you that, but I think you already know. I'll say it real quick. Monday is Moon Day, Tuesday is Mars, Wednesday is Miércoles, Mercury, Thursday is Venus, Friday is Jupiter, Saturday, Sábado is Saturn Day, Sunday is Domingo, Sun Day. That's the day of Ra. So Ra is masculine, the moon is feminine. Let's think about this for a second. Think about all these stars up there, right? And they are fixed. And I just did a video on this being born. The word orb, which is inside of the word born, which relates to orbit, the spinning energy, the Merkaba of our invisible being, our invisible self, which stretches quite far, and I believe for those of us enlightened, even further. And it's a type of orbit. You ever watch like a dog before he lays down? He'll always do a circle, an orbit. So we are orbed in here. We are born. We are a piece of star. We are an asteroid. Star dies, asteroid, and we come into here. And die, I want to add, is dies is days, Latin. To die is day in Latin. I find that fascinating. In a way, it's almost like each night we die. Each night we die and we wake up. We are reinstalled with our RAM, our memories, our downloads. We're downloaded at night, uploaded at night, and then we take in downloads during the day in our waking hour. What do I mean by that? Well, if you watch Netflix, if you listen to a song, if you talk to a friend, if you're texting, all of this is creating downloads in your subconscious. It's a field of downloads, and they float around you in an etheric sense, in the ether. They float around you, and they are connected to the cosmic being, the sky, the cosmos, and there is an interchange, an exchange of information, and you are providing more info essentially to the cosmic cloud, just like a cloud in a computer stores data. You're giving data into the etheric field, the energy fields, right? And it makes sense, especially being in a holographic system, and they need this, and this is the reason why we stare into these black cubes on a daily basis. This is why we're hypnotized by them. And the main point of this video, I'm connecting it, so if you just hang on and listen, I'm going to explain. How did we get here? Well, even though it's all consciousness, the sky is consciousness. The seven wandering stars are the luminaries. They are connected to us. I don't like the word chakras, and I can't explain to you why. It's just maybe because it sounds like Shakira or Shaka Khan. It's just I don't like that word. But we do have, for lack of a better term, we do have the seven luminaries in our physical being, which is not really physical, it's consciousness, but it feels physical. In our avatar, we do have all the matching luminaries to the sky. Now, think about also, and I'm going to get back to the sun and the moon in a moment, but think about also the fact that stars look quite similar to synapses and neurons. If you look at photos of the brain and atoms, well, the star system, the constellations, the stellar system, all looks like, just like consciousness, just like, or no, you can't see consciousness, but let me say the mind, the ment, firmament, right? The mind. It's a type of mind system. Ment system, sealed in by the glass ceiling. But how does it reproduce is the question, which is, your question is, how did I get here? So hang on a second. So let's think outside of the Saturnian black box cube in which we reside, or we think we reside, or feel like we are experiencing. We are an experience no matter what. Okay, so let's think outside of it for a moment. You've got Ra, you've got Horus, you've got the sun, you've got the moon. Now, the moon were a water body, similar to that of a fish in the sea, because water is above, which is really a type of plasma that we can't see. It's invisible to us, to our five limited senses. Okay, so could it not be, if they're portals, if they're wormholes, all the luminaries related to the zodiac? And if we want to talk about the sun and the moon for a moment, those are the only two moving in the same direction, following the ecliptic. Okay? And they're connected. They're connected to each other. And none of what SANA, invert that spelling, think code, none of what they tell you is even close to accurate. And I want you to take whatever they tell you and invert it. So if they tell you that something is millions and billions of miles away, guess what? It's real close. So the sun and the moon are very close to us, okay? They're in our field. We are the sun and the moon. You are the sun and the moon. You are the seven wandering luminaries. You are all these energy fields, each piece of you. And I don't have this book with me right now, but I'm going to talk more about it later. The Golden Dawn, which was a book popular with Aleister Crowley and the occult and Israeli Regardie. And it's not a cheap book. It's a rare book, and it's quite fascinating. But it does describe in great detail how each luminary is directly, even is a direct part of you. Like I believe Venus is the left nostril and Saturn the right ear. And it goes on and on and on. And we know that Aries is the head, the RAM. And what does the computer store? The RAM. Okay, so we've got the sun and the moon, and it's part of you. And you come from the sun and the moon. You feel the moon. We're entering the full moon now. You feel the sun in Aquarius right now. You are feeling all the luminaries in Aquarius right now. So they are illuminated, Illuminati, luminaries, illuminated, illuminating you. You may feel cold, you may feel full. A lot of whatever you are feeling is directly related to these sentient beings, the gods. So, the sun and the moon. Could you say, would it be safe to say that the sun is Ra and that the moon, which is some call Diana, the moon has different names, but we know that she's feminine, Luna. Okay, so could it be the offspring of Ra and Luna are the stars? That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Look up gestation periods of fish. It's not very long. Some of them are indeed a 21 to 30 day cycle. So could you say, in theory, the moon kind of goes invisible, doesn't she, for a while? Could you say that the sun hunts her, and it is a sort of releasing of seamen? Isn't that interesting? Like the sea above. It isn't a reproduction the way humans exactly, but it is two different charges. The sun being magnetism and the moon being a type of electric charge, dielectric or electric. Think about how you might feel more electrified during the full moon, right? Than you do once she's gone and she's in the newer moon state. You don't feel that as much. So that makes a lot of sense. So could it be that the sun and the moon have a sort of reproduction type of experience, and a recycling of humans, of souls, is occurring simultaneously in this system, right? What do you say when a woman, I guess you would say this more like a Meghan Markle type of pregnancy, the fake moon bump? Or you could say, look at that, the bump, right? It's like a full moon when the woman is totally full. You have to erase what you're thinking about as far as a human, because that's just creating one baby, or maybe two or three, but this is not the same. Think of it more similar to a fish. That's the closest thing that I can think of that is related to our world. And so the moon and the sun, if they are portals, if they are wormholes, when you leave this state of consciousness, or this experience, right, this reality, this dimension, and you see a white light, it makes a lot of sense that the white light is the sun or the moon. And it makes a lot of sense that it's actually, seems to be that it would be the sun first, since the germination process and semen and such, and then you would go through the moon, obviously, through both, and come right back down. I mean, in order for this experience to occur, even if it's a holographic system, even if, reincarnation, which we know exists, possibly or more than likely simultaneous incarnations, since time is not linear, however you want to look at it. If you come back down here, the question is, how are you going up and coming down? Ask yourself that. How are you going up and coming down? And what needs to take place for you to come back here? Obviously, there's a memory wipe, and the sun and the moon are much more than we can understand. I will say this, though, the sun is a lot lighter, and it's more white than it was for a lot of us. Some would say that's a type of Mandela effect, or some type of alteration that has occurred in the last few decades. For those of us who, like myself, grew up in the 90s, in the late 80s and the 90s. So the sun has lightened a bit. The sky is not as blue. So there's a different resolution. And to me, that gives me a clue that in this lifetime, I have exited and returned. I am absolutely certain of it. Absolutely certain of it. I don't think that famous musicians who I've actually met and flown, like Sting, I don't think that they sing about 1,000 lives and 1,000 years without reason. I don't think they say cats have 9 lives without reason. I think that you can actually experience this one repeatedly, and even just wake up like you would from a dream. Because there's so many mini resets. There's mini resets in eclipses and full moons. And that also goes along with the theory of the sun and the moon are type of portals that are reproducing souls, recycling souls. And what is the word soul? It is soul, S-O-L. So surely you've got to go through it to come back down. I mean, it makes sense. There's so many terms that we can equate to both the sun and the moon. And if you think about it from a non-human perspective of being two energies just right above us, they're right there. They are very close. And if you think about how we know that we come back here, a lot of us, and a lot of us want to never come back here. And we know that we can slip into other dimensions. Well, how the heck does that happen? How is all of it happening? Well, if it's a great big consciousness in the sky, full of neurons, full of atoms, full of molecules, things that look just like synapses and neurons in the brain, neurotransmitters. And we actually have a type of receiver, an etheric receiver above our head. Well, this all makes sense to think about that we are recycled. We go up, we go through the portals, through the wormholes, and we come back down. And what do you need to come back down? If you've got the mother and father in the sky, do you need the father is fire, the mother is could be water or earth, and the Holy Ghost could very well be air. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So you need those elements to re-enter. And who supports those elements? Well, the other luminaries. Venus, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter. It all makes sense. And we are a miniature version. Not that you're small, because you're huge. You are huge. You are big. You are huge. Don't get me wrong. But I just mean in relation as far as when we look up and the size, the scale of things, which I believe is actually just a type of veil. We don't really see what's really there. I mean, you can't see the stars during the day. You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. We're so limited in our perception. However, we do get downloads from the solar system, and this is mine lately, and I want to share it with you. And it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. And these constellations, there's some very interesting constellations. Did you know that some of them are named after, a lot of them are named after the Greek alphabet, and they're directly related to the waves of the brain, like gamma, like theta, like delta. Delta Fornax, which is the triangle that you see on Delta, who I used to actually work for years ago, Delta Airlines, the triangle. What do you see in Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here album? It's the luminaries, the energies of colors going through the delta triangle, the delta brainwave, which is a state of awakeness, but also symbolic of the dream. And if you look at the word dream, it has the word RAM, which is memory, right? Because this is a type of dream. It's a very sophisticated type of dream that I know we always want to blame bad guys for the stuff happening to us and things, but I hate to say it, but it's actually a part of us. The whole consciousness is a part of us. We just aren't aware of that part. So, and there may be some part of us outside of this source in the solar system in another dimension that is still very much us, that is speeding up time, that is creating challenges, that is giving us hints and clues to help us to fly out of the system, to not return, to advance out, right? So anyway, the main premise of this video was how did I get here, and the sun and the moon, and also the asteroids have a huge effect if you do zodiac charts, if you know anything about the zodiac and just the asteroids in general. Aren't they kind of like little fish? What do they call a star that's flying, like a shooting star, right? And that's another one aspect of this I want to add before I conclude this. And I never want to run too long to where I lose your attention. I want to give braingasms. I want to give big thought. I want you to see language clues, zodiac clues. Expand that part of our brain that they don't want us to use, that pine cone, that pineal gland. We can, if we expand it, if we think these big, we are going to expand our consciousness, our awareness, which will help you survive in this holographic system. It will help you to survive and help you to expand in awareness and to exit the matrix also, which is part of the whole need, part of the whole thing, that what we want is essentially is to not come back here. And I think those of us who are at this point researching and listening and reading so much as we do have been here many, many, many times. And it may even be just a different version of the you that you are now, the you that you know now. And so in asteroid, you also see the word die. You also see star again, star. You also see the letter O, which O is, I am sure, for the ring around the zodiac and the mind and this experience, the O star. That I am positive is the circle is huge. The letter O is huge, and I can do a whole video on O. It's one of our most prominent letters, and you see how they use Q is a big part of O, and Q, the QR code, and Q is huge now. For a while, connected to O. And asteroid, wouldn't it be like the little stars, the little fish, the little asteroids in the sky, the little stars that we come down here from? Couldn't that appear almost like a fish that had babies? So the moon is full, and so the soul goes up through the portals, enters the moon, comes back down, mind wiped, lots of souls coming down, lots of souls taken in, coming down, recycling system, kind of like an explosion during the full moon. And that's why we might feel so weird during the full moon. I mean, that's why we females are menstruating. So we are all kind of giving birth. She's giving birth to souls, and some of us are, so are women that are having babies in labor, and so are periods everywhere. You see, they always line up with the moon. Everything is related to the moon for the female. So doesn't it make sense? The reproduction of the sun and the moon, the negative, the two energies, the magnetism. The way we exist here is the electromagnetic field. So, but who's in charge, no pun intended, charge of that? The sun and the moon. It's so obvious to me. And I know I've got the download in my little computer brain file. You know, I know I've got it from a good source. I just wonder if other people, do you ever hear about it? What's another clue that the sun's a portal that Hollywood gives us? Lion's Gate? Gates? I'm not going to say the first name, and yes, I've actually had interaction with the family of the Gates in my job. Gates, okay? These are portals. They're gates in the brain, consciousness directly related to the portals. So it's a synergistic relationship of our consciousness and the consciousness of what's above us, the sky, which is actually a mirrored reflection. And I will save that for the next video coming up. I really want to talk about that a lot. But I want to conclude this here so I keep your attention and just so you think on this and not get sidetracked too much. So, and I will add another video tomorrow. And happy 11th month as it's closing. We don't care about the bureaucracy, the man-made calendar. The first of our year is not until spring. It's not until the spring equinox and and April 1st. Okay? And in closing, I want to say thanks for listening, and I would love to see your thoughts, your comments on this. Sun and moon and the stars and the asteroids and a gestation period similar to a fish is the moon, and how there's a type of reproduction, a solar cycling reproduction going on above us, directly related to our events and our life experiences and how we got here. I would love to see that. I am extremely limited on YouTube. It does not want me talking. It will not allow me to reach so many like others can. And I'm not the only one. There's lots of limited podcasters. But so anyway, having said that, I will stop there, and I would just love to hear your thoughts and comments on this particular subject. And I hope that you're staying warm and safe as we get through this. It's there's nothing to fear. They want you to fear. Don't do it. They want you to forecast, right? Cast the spell of bad weather. No, nothing to fear here. And look forward to your comments. Thanks so much for listening, guys.